That one?
Yeah.
It's a children's song. Then Glenn, he goes all the way down here.
All the way to the top. Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show. What an honor it is to be here with a guy who I just recently connected with through the Secret Jazz series here in Tucson. Thoger Lund, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thank you so much.
I want you to talk about why you believe jazz is so much more appreciated and consumed and driven in Europe. Because you know what it is like. That was your first love, is that right?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Denmark. Music is just a big part of everybody's life in Denmark. Everybody knows a bunch of songs. There's a tradition of singing together. And just a tradition of listening to music that you don't necessarily already know.
Would you say it's communal listening too? People would sit around together and listen together?
Yeah.
Not in isolation with your ear. I'm talking about when you were younger specifically.
Yeah. When I was
New
younger.
record would come out, you'd put it on, people would listen to it together.
Yeah, you would hang out, listening to records at somebody's apartment. Go to see a show, after the show, go back to an apartment, listening to recordings.
Right. So you were. Tell me a little bit about your obsession. What put you on your path to, at least early on in Denmark, playing jazz? I mean, because what I'm getting at is I saw you with Creston Osgood here in Glenmore, Chris Pena, Max Goldschmidt. It was absolutely, it was the best show, and I will see a lot of music this year. Nothing will come close to that. And I'm not saying you were playing that all the time, but that's not uncommon where you're from.
No, there's a lot of free-spirited music.
And these are the two things I want you to know. How did you develop vulnerability on the bandstand, and also the ability to just be yourself early on in your life?
Well, I don't think I developed that late
Fair
in
enough.
my life.
Yeah.
I think I played a lot of conventional music where you have to play the changes right and the rhythm right and everybody, and if you don't do that right, the singer will turn around and yell at you.
You're in the dungeon. Yeah.
So
right.
I played a lot
of formula stuff.
A lot of that stuff. A lot of stuff where the basses have to do certain things. And it's like something I really started to get into the last 5 years, I'd say, where you like let go of something, like you have to hold on to.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because a lot of that. Can you talk about when you first were like, I want to let go, like I want to not play free, but just let go of the confines and the dogma and the idea that there's a right way and a wrong way to do something in music.
Well, you have to figure out that there's a lot of things that are connected in music. There's like
what?
Like different chord types are connected to each other. So it's like, oh yeah, it says that it's an E, but it could also be some kind of C sharp. It's like there's parallel.
There's variables, yeah.
That works together, and the same thing with rhythm. It's like the more you build up knowledge about it. How's that plane doing? You build up knowledge, and then you start to see that there's certain things that works together across.
How did you meet Creston Osgood? When did you play? Because I just was going to say that concert that I saw, and I know I'm ruminating on it a lot, but
yeah,
can you talk? I mean, because that dude doesn't seem like he was ever in a confined musical situation, and he probably was. But what I'm saying is, were you guys playing like that from the minute you guys met?
I haven't really played much with him.
You knew him back in Denmark before?
I knew him back in Denmark. I think we played together maybe once. We were trying to remember if we ever actually played together. I think we did, but we hung out a bunch. He moved to Copenhagen, and I lived in the little sister city called Aarhus.
How do you spell?
Aarhus.
A-A.
Aarhus.
Okay.
The house by the stream.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, old Viking town. Yeah, so he would come there and play, and I lived right around the corner from the jazz club. So after the show, we would go to listen to records at my house, and yeah, he's a great hang, and he has so much knowledge about music.
What about knowledge just about the idea of like what we talked about, sort of the record that the title of that album, Fire, Soul, Guts, the idea of pulse and tension and release. I mean, it's fair to say that you invited him over for the Secret Jazz Society, even though maybe you'd played once before.
Yeah.
But only now were you actually ready to be in an environment to play with him. Is that fair to say?
I don't know. I think I would have been ready at any time. I think I was ready back then, but I'm definitely more ready now. And I know there's still stuff I have to work on to be even more ready. I mean, there's always development. Have to develop. There's so many different levels to develop on.
Would you talk a little bit about, do you feel like part of me feels like younger cats especially, it's impossible to really keep growing in academia, within the four walls of academia. And, you know, you're playing at the Maverick with a great country band, playing in a lot of different kinds of settings. Do you feel like you learn the most on the bandstand or when you are shedding?
Well, if I have a new subject that I know that I have to get into, shedding is...
What's an example of a new subject for Thoger Lund?
New rhythms, new tones, bowing techniques. It could be anything. I have a little list written down. I can never remember it, so I write it down.
Genres of music, though, bluegrass, or is it more just about?
One of the things that I learned the most from here,
Tucson,
was when I started playing with a folk band and I had to play one note like that.
Right. Keep it interesting.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Right.
It's okay. Playing that for 5 minutes, you have to be really good at making that one note sit in the right spot. So stuff like that, just like, okay, where do you learn that? You don't want to be standing at home playing. Right? That you do on the bandstand. And then you find out, oh, if I do this little thing there, that little thing.
You, there's a legendary album with Oscar Peterson, Stan Getz, Herb Ellis, and Ray Brown, Drummerless Quartet.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, talk about swinging a band or an experience you had in any genre, drummerless, Thoger Lund being able to swing. I think that's one of the testaments to great music. I mean, Steve Gadd, when I interviewed him for the second time, he was listening incessantly to this quartet album with Oscar and Stan.
Mm-hmm.
No drummer. It was burning.
He was playing along to it, I bet.
I'm sure he was, but the idea was the music itself, there was no track drummer.
Yeah.
So can you talk about a time when you were like swinging a band in a drummerless setting?
Well, as the bass player, you are really depending on the people that you play with. So you can't make a piano player that has small glitches
Right.
or whatever it is. You can't fix that. It have to. If you're playing with somebody that can do it, then you can do it, and then it's happening.
Have you passed on the passion and love of music to your son?
Oh yeah.
Talk about where's he at these days? I mean, he's not home from school, that's for sure.
Well, he's actually out on a bike ride.
He's on a bike ride.
Yeah.
But also, like, did you allow him to sort of naturally gravitate to music, or because some people will just, I know you're not that kind of person, but they will push their kids to do something that they don't like. I'm curious how he gravitated to music itself.
Well, he's been listening to me playing a lot around the house, practicing, playing records, listening to sessions in the house
Yep.
with people stopping by, and then when he was about 9, it's like, okay, maybe we should find you a piano teacher, because I think that's a good idea. So we did that, and he's been doing that for 4 years, and then he picked up the bass. It's like, okay, high school jazz band, you got to do that.
Damn.
Yeah, you got to do that. So
Did you do that back in the stream, the house by the
No.
stream? No high school jazz. They didn't.
No.
Did they have a jazz band in high school?
no,
No. So he's swinging the band right now.
yeah, and
Holy cow!
it's so awesome. He's learning really quick. He started 8 months ago, and
Just the rhythms were inside. He
Well-
probably picked it up from in the womb. You know.
well, I'm not sure about that. It's a
Suffice it to say, as a father, though, it's just beautiful to see him.
yeah, it's great to have that passion, and great at picking up melodies, and likes to play the bass, likes to play the electric bass, and now he got a band at school that he can play with.
He's got a smaller ensemble. Or
Yeah.
yeah, this is unbelievable. Where's he going to school, by the way?
Tucson High.
Okay, so that's perfect. And boy, man, that is, you couldn't
Yeah.
ask for a better. I mean,
No,
because the
it's-
music is do you think that music has rhythm specifically has saved you? I know it has saved me.
I don't know.
That's a good answer,
I
yeah.
think I would have done just great, but once I found music, I couldn't stay away from it. But rhythm came last to me. Melody came first. For me, melody definitely first. Rhythm is something I've been working on, and now I'm beginning to be really comfortable about some rhythms. There's always something new. It's like, okay,
I know.
what?
And it's
What's
also people's
happening?
time feel. You got to get used to that. And you just talk to the audience about what an honor it was for you to play with Glenn Moore.
Yeah, Glenn Moore, wow, fantastic. So I go down with my country band down to Arivaca.
Oh.
We set up and we play out there, and in the break there's a guy that comes up and say, "Hey, you're good, but that guy down there, he's better."
Brother Moore?
Like,
Yeah.
who's that? Oh, that's Glenn Moore. Introduce me, come on. So he introduces me, and we start talking right away. Glenn lived in Copenhagen for 2 years when he was young. It's like, okay, this guy is amazing. And then I find out that we have a friend in common that also lives in Arivaca. So now the connection gets stronger.
The synergy was there.
Yeah. And then when this Secret Jazz series thing came up, it was time to pick somebody to come and play. It's like, okay, Kristen is coming, my wife said, Kristen is coming. She talked to him. And then she was like, you know, Kristen likes to play with the guys that been around. Yeah. So why don't we talk to Glenn Moore about that? I'm like, what? Am I gonna play with another bass player? What? Just do it. So I did it, and wow.
Hey, I
Fantastic.
still get chills thinking about it, and you know, just in general, what's in your mind's eye? Where do you want to take this Secret Jazz series? I think it's really important because to me, the most important thing is that people's ears need to grow. They need to listen to stuff that they may not be accustomed to, but they're going to dig it.
Yeah.
So what's your goal? I mean, how do you want it to keep growing? Because obviously you did one before COVID.
Yeah.
This one was the first one coming out of it. But
Yeah.
I would love to see the momentum carry on.
Well, I want to do it for the Jazz Festival again.
Sure.
And the idea is to bring over one guy from Copenhagen that I never got to play with, or that I got to play with a little bit before I went on my rock and roll journey with Giant Sand.
Giant Sand.
Yeah, so it's like
You became a rock star.
Yeah, so trying to connect me back to what it was I was doing before I did that, and doing it by bringing over one person who then gets combined with some local musicians, and that's the whole idea of the Secret Jazz series.
Thoger Lund, I am so fired up for the Jackrabbit Lounge tonight, man. We will continue to have a ball, and I just wanted to say, man, part of our connection now is me coming in to continually push you to go back to the roots of what got you into music to begin with, because I love rock, but to know that you started and were steeped in the legend of melodic improvisation of jazz that's where it's at, and that's how you're going to keep growing. So thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you. You're welcome anytime. Come push me.
I will, baby. See you later. This is the Jake Feinberg Show. We'll see you later.